Me versus Me, a movement to celebrate women artists and creatives and provide an intentional platform for women by a woman to learn, network across, and showcase their talents. Plus, we vibe all the way out, baby. So come catch a vibe with us. I'm Michelle McKnight, and tonight's guest is a literary activist, a screenwriter, author, and playwright, and founder of Houston Play on Purpose. Plus, she's in pre-production right now for her first short film, If They Took Us Back. If you haven't heard of her already, now you do. So welcome to the show and meet Holly Charles Pearson.
I'm going to ask you some things that you actually will know the answer to. Okay.
I hope
all about Holly when it comes down.
I better know myself.
I hope that you know yourself.
I hope that I do.
Because I definitely don't know you better than you. I should anyway. But I'm looking forward to getting to know you more. Diving deep into who Holly Charles Pearson actually is. She married for one. That I do know. So shouts out to the husband. Okay, so one thing I want to know is, what is the most exciting element of production for you? Creative process, writing-wise, cast selection, or seeing everything and feeling that gratification once it's wrapped?
Oh my God. You know what? It's kind of like your favorite baby is the new one. So like I get really excited in the writing process. Like, okay, like I'll like call my husband, okay, can you come in here because I need to read this to you? And then when I finally get to this place where I feel like I've struck some sort of chord that's going to resonate with a bunch of people, so that's super exciting. But then the next thing is when I find a face and a voice to match what I'm doing. So like casting gets really intense for me. That is so exciting when I find someone who has the vision for my vision, like actually, or when they bring out something in the character that I didn't even see, like I just get really, really excited. And then when I see people respond, so it's like, it's hard to say like there's one, that's my favorite. The solitary act of writing though is probably where I'm most comfortable. One thing that when I was young, I was always like kind of insecure, and I would always say, well, like the paper can't criticize you. Like you can write anything and tear it up or scratch it out, and it can be the dumbest thing ever, And so I always was like really excited to have that solitary act of like, I'll write whatever I want and I choose whether or not somebody else gets to ever see it, read it, hear it, feel it, know about it.
Yeah.
So I think I don't want to call it my favorite, but that's home, is writing home.
Taking that a step deeper into that, when it comes to you writing, are you one of those more organic people, like you have to put the pen to the paper? Do you still use a classic typewriter if they're even selling those?
Yeah.
On the ink?
Yeah.
Or do you just laptop, computer, whatever it is, you just have to make sure you write your thoughts down?
That's a great question, because for a while, I had to like pen to paper for a long time, until maybe in only the last 5 years have I just gone straight to the computer.
Wow.
Like literally, I wrote everything down, even in a planner. Like I didn't put anything in my phone. Like it's been in the last 5 years that I had to but I still will. Sometimes I'll write something on a Post-it note and it still will start somewhere. So I still, a lot of times, start organically on paper.
I feel like the art of writing with your hand has been lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
Because even sometimes for me, when I catch myself writing, it'll be very minimum. Maybe I have to fill out a form.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm at the GPS office. And I'll notice that my hand starts to hurt, like after,
because you're not used to it.
And it looks like chicken scratch.
We're not doing it anymore. I like the one thing that I like about writing versus typing is that it slows the brain down in this way that you don't get when you're typing. I feel like there's more pressure when I'm at the keyboard, that I need to be doing something and I don't want to delete. But like there's something about writing slowly enough to think my next thought. And so sometimes like some of the best phrases or lines that come out of like a play, or in this case a film, is something that I wrote on a Post-it note or on a napkin, or just jotted it down real quick, and then I can take that and then I can go and type.
Something the Generation Z will never be able to.
They will never
teach cursive.
No, they don't. And I used to teach. The babies can't tell time. Literally. No, they literally don't know how to use like the analog like clock.
Times of your
They only know the digital, like the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And speaking of younger generation,
yeah.
when you were young and your mind saw no limitations, the sky was the limit, beyond the sky.
Sure.
There was no limit, literally. You know, what are some of the creative things that you used to conjure up in those days?
Oh, wow.
Young Holly,
Oh, wow.
before you were Holly Pearson.
Before I was Holly Pearson, oh, man. You know what? There were people that I really idolized. I've never wanted to be someone. You know how some people are so obsessed they want to be them. But no, I wanted to create something that was iconic and that like shifted the culture. I wanted to write like Mara Brock-Akil. I was really obsessed with her. I remember in college, the girls on Girlfriends were who I aspired to be. And I knew more women that looked like them and sounded like them and had experiences like them than I did what was on like reality TV. And so I thought, wow, this is revolutionary. We get to see real Black women. Which, I mean, now sounds crazy, right? But, I mean, that was really, really a huge deal that we got.
Black women with talent, not just that.
Yes, and characters that were even flawed, but in realistic ways, right? They weren't perfect characters, but they were real people. They were something to aspire to be. Like, I had just never seen that. And even the way they valued relationships with other Black women. Like I'd never seen anything like that. And I thought, I want to write stories about us that, you know, I wanted it to be for us, but I also wanted the rest of the world to understand us the way that we're forced to see our counterparts, right? Like we always have this greater understanding of our white counterparts because the world is fulfilled. You know, I think that's why we have so much more empathy for other races, but it's not always, you know, like reciprocated for us. So I wanted to show us in a real way. I was like, look, we do more than tote guns and sell drugs and have babies and have arguments and throw drinks. Like those things happen in every culture, but we are also this. We are, you know, we have emotions. And so I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to share stories about people that I know.
So Me Versus Me is all about celebrating women creatives and elevating art, because art a lot of times allows women to be able to articulate themselves even when they can't find the words. Obviously, you have no issue finding the words.
I do. No, you know what? Let me tell my husband to say, nah, she don't. But no, I do sometimes have a hard time finding the words. Yeah. I mean, I think that's the beauty of writing something down is that you get time. There's nobody interrupting me. There's nobody making a face that makes me feel like what I said was not important. Do you know what I'm saying? So there are things that I can get out when I'm writing by myself that I'll never get out in a conversation.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would ever stand in front of, a Black man and say, hey, don't call me strong, because when you do that, this is what happens, you know? But I might say it in a really insecure way. And I think that there's power in the page.
Yeah. Well, you have a gift and vision to bring out storyline, colors, camera angles, make the audience feel the feelings of the characters that you have in your production. So when it comes to your creative process, how do you kind of go into that mindset to develop all of these different attributes for what you are trying to produce?
I think it's important to show that, you know, no devil always has horns and no angel always has their, you know, this halo above their head. Like, we are all completely flawed. We all contradict ourselves. We all are, like we're duplicities. Like we have so much going on. And so for me, that's the meat of any character. I don't know that I really want to like create any one person that's really, really great or any one person that's really, really bad. Ultimately, there's a reason why we all make decisions. And I think that's the most gratifying part about writing is that I can create empathy, or I have the opportunity to create empathy for, the villain and the victim. And I think that we probably solve more by looking at people as people who make decisions for certain reasons. So that's, for me, character development is saying like no one's born inherently evil or, you know, or whatever. It's like everybody has a story. So I try to develop that as much as I can.
Okay, so in all these years of you entering into TV film production, knowing that this is something that you wanted to do, also, you know, you mentioned you being a teacher, and then you worked with radio. There's been several different lanes that it is that you've taken throughout your journey. And now you are back here honing in on your talent, what your passion is. So what has been one of the most humbling experiences that you've had so far?
Oh, I think the most humbling experience it's every time you come up with something new because you're trying to convince people that this is important. And the thing is, it's personal to you. My art, at least, I'm, keep in mind I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my, like, it feels that way. This is important. So every single time that I'm trying to like get an audience to like just come and view it, like I'm always confident that like if you see it, you'll get it. But just getting people to sign on, initially to get people into the theater to watch a play, and in this case to see a film, that's really humbling. Yeah. Because people judge the art on the way you walk in the room first and whether or not they want to, like, what could she be talking about? So that's really humbling that you're constantly selling yourself before you can actually sell the real product. And I am not the salesperson. I am not a salesperson. I literally lead with my heart. Like, I have nothing but sincerity when I walk into the room. So sometimes I miss the sales pitch, and that part is really humbling because I get really uncomfortable in the sweaty armpits when I have to do the elevator speech because it's not really what I do. I just want to tell the stories. I want to tell the stories. I want people to feel like, man, I thought I was the only one who felt like that. I want people to say, man, somebody sees me. Man, it's okay that I feel that way. I want people to feel seen by what they see on the screen.
And identify themselves and the characters that it is that you're
absolutely.
creating.
And I want them to improve other relationships with people in their community, in their homes, in their marriages. I want you to be able to see something on screen that then makes you empathize and understand another person more. Yeah. Like, that's what this is about. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the mission for me, at least.
Ego is a scary thing.
Yeah.
And I'm a firm believer in setting expectations for yourself, working hard. You always put hard work and persistence behind having genuine intentions that you're always going to be successful. And as you're saying that, because I've heard some music producers say similar things about, well, people will create things and say, hey, y'all come and check this out. But you really, your feelings would get hurt if nobody really, it's not even, you won't even give it a chance to come and check it out and say whether you like it or you don't like it. And I read an article one time too, just as far as social media goes and trying to build social media presence and why are people liking my stuff and am I being shadow banned? And it was so much truth in this article one day because it literally said, maybe your stuff really is not as good as you think it is, and you need to post better content. Like, it just really broke
it down. Yeah.
And that is an humbling experience. And I think the fact that you can take something like that and say, like, hey, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm passionate about. I would love for you to love this, but it is still important for me to be putting something out there, not just for a reaction, but you to really take this material.
Yes.
And it to start a conversation.
Yeah, I want to be that little pebble, that you throw in the water, and there's these ripples that go out endlessly. Like, you'll never see the end of it. For me, that's what this is about. So even like with my latest film or with my first short film, if they took us back, the point is for us to have conversation, not just so that, oh, she has this film and it's really trippy and it's really different and it's about Black people going back to Africa after Emancipation Proclamation. It's about more than that. It's about having conversations about social constructs and race as we know it, and what would happen if we didn't have everything set in stone in history before we got a chance to create a world of our own. And so, like, it's about conversations. It's about I want people to argue on the way home. About what I'm trying to say. Like, that's coming, right? But I want people to have like real dialogue. I just want to connect people, and I think there's a way to do that through storytelling.
And let's get into it.
Sure.
If they took us back, you are in pre-production for your first short film. That's what the name of it is. You just gave us a short synopsis.
Yeah.
So after the Emancipation Proclamation, free the slaves.
Yeah.
What if we all left and went back, back to the homeland, and then decades, a century later, the U.S. invited us to come back, but on different circumstances.
Yes.
Offering those reparations, not just offering them, actually giving them.
Giving reparations. Yes.
What was it that made you or, convinced you to wrap your mind around telling this story to open up this conversation specifically? And how long did it take for you to write this script?
Sure. So I'll start by saying I started writing the script during the pandemic. So when I idea when the next play was going to happen, and I just had time to not be, you know, running around. I was able to sit down for maybe about 6 months, and what I initially wrote was like a really long, what I hoped would be like a limited series. And then I realized later on, I really want this story to happen, but I'm probably going to have to make it a short, you know, in order to afford it and even to match with the level of experience that I've had, you know, through stage plays and now film. And so I really, really wanted people to dig into history. And so I started thinking about the 15,000 formerly enslaved people, because I'm trying to stop using the word slaves, right? I'm trying to, because my people weren't slaves. It's difficult to do, but I'm challenging myself to say formerly enslaved people, because we were people first, right? And so, and remain people. I wanted people to think about not just as 15,000, but what would the U.S. be missing if what I feel is the soul of America left? What would the world look like? And then if there was time to to have the absence of African American people, what would have happened to the culture and the music and the food, and like what would be here, and how would we be remembered for our gifts if they were no longer available? You know, have we just been taken for granted as a people? You know, and so I feel like if they had taken us back, we'd be remembered as the people who tilled these fields, who through this terrible and violent territorialism, we created inheritances for our counterparts. I would say, like they said, we built this joint for free. I think we would have we are the ones who, their children, suckled, at women's breasts, and we sat at the bedsides of people as they passed away. Wouldn't that be the memory that was left? I think we would be remembered a lot differently, but I think because of the way that African Americans were left in this country and then almost posed a threat, right? And when I say a threat, I don't mean a physical threat. I mean, now you have to share resources. Now there's competition for jobs, for space, for land, for romantic interest. There are all of these things. Right. Well, now it's a problem. And so now we fall into a different category, and now we're an irritant to a country. Now we're tolerated in a country instead of being celebrated and absolutely a target, when really we should be celebrated for all the things that we've afforded everyone in this nation, right? And so I just started thinking more about that, thinking about Marcus Garvey and his plan, the Back to Africa movement, the Pan-Africanism, us having this connectedness. What would it look like if we weren't here? What would happen if we had a large presence somewhere else? And it's hilarious to me when I think about like what we've done in not just the U.S., but the world, right? Black culture, and I'm talking about African American culture, touches it touches every continent. It's like, that's why we can go, like, they know Beyonce in every part of the world. We can, there's like, they only need one. They only need one. Whatever. But she's traveling everywhere anyway. But you know what I'm saying? It's like what we have done. I mean, like rock and roll, R&B, jazz.
A lot of that is appropriate.
Yes, and yes, and just, and even when I was saying, don't call me strong, I'm effective immediately. Just the things that Black women are and standards of beauty, we're not the standard of beauty, but everything that we do is emulated in some way and then, kind of repackaged in other places. So I just wonder, what would that look like if we had time to heal and they had time to reflect? Would they not beg us to come back?
You've evolved into this person who, who you are, you're confident in that, and you know what message that you want to tell, which is very difficult in a time right now where we have so much influence with social media, telling us one thing, you having an opinion about it, but then having 1,000 people maybe jump down your throat and disagree with you.
Sure.
But, in the early days of you being a writer, who did you look up to in TV, film, production? Who did you channel in those earlier days?
Sure.
When you were writing and creating?
So, love Spike Lee. I always liked the way his incorporation of music and mood into film was always exceptional to me. So music has always been a huge part of what I've done on stage and now with this film. That's always been a big deal. And then as far as writers, I don't know that it was always filmmakers. It was people like Zora Neale Hurston, because she writes in poetry. And when I say that, I don't mean like it's swirly lurly language. I mean like she could make the simplest sentence. She says in Beloved, you are your best, or you your best thing. That's what she says. You are your best thing. It's not about how elaborate the language is. It's just how simple it is. And so I think that's the same thing with Black culture. So it always has mirrored that. So I've always loved Zora Neale Hurston and how she did like folklore, and it was just everyday people. And that's kind of, always been what I've been inspired by. Alice Walker, same thing.
If they took us back, going to cause a lot of disagreement.
Yeah.
Argument.
It's supposed to. It's hypothetical.
Conversation piece. I could see them even having seminars.
Yeah. Because you know what?
PV and beyond.
Sometimes it's about it's about asking the right questions, not having the right answers. I'm not solving anything with this. I'm asking, what would it look like? What if you took this away from, what if we did this? I'm asking you what you think and how would we operate, And so again, like the conversation about reparations, like reparations is not a new concept. Reparations was something that was discussed before the Civil War before it even ended. There was always a conversation about there's no way that you simply release 4 million formerly enslaved, uneducated people and then just decide that like our nation is going to be fine with that. It was going to be damaging, and we see that damage 158 years later. We see that. We always knew that was important. That we, and again, those reparations were not enough. Like 40 acres and a mule was not what we deserved. It was what we should have at least gotten in that moment, at least. And so again, I just want to open up conversations about that,
Holly Pearson, your legacy, what you ultimately hope and wish to accomplish in your lifetime in TV and film, what would you say that is?
I'll say this. I believe in personal ministries. I really believe that the gift that God gave me was to tell stories so that it would take care of his people, to, I connect people through doing that. I want to build a brand that is about trust. I want when people see my face, or when they know, when they hear that there's another production coming up, I want people to trust that they're going to get something powerful, that they're going to get something purposeful, that they're going to get something unique that's going to give them something that will help them become a better person. I want people to just trust that. You know how like there's certain people, when I hear Tim Burton's name, like I know what that brand is. I know what I'm going to get from that. I know what the feeling is. I want people to say, when I go see these films, I always come out a better person. I always come out and have a powerful conversation with someone. I always come away from it with growth. I want people to trust me with that.
And on that note, if they took us back, they want to come back. Be on the lookout. Holly Pearson, baby, your first short film. Congratulations. I know it's going to be fantabulous. And you probably going to see me at the audience.
I think she going to be there.
Okay. All right, you ready?
Holly. Let's see.
We're calling this, put you on the spot.
Okay.
Which you weren't ready for.
I am not.
And since you are in the world of TV, film, and production.
Yes.
I want to see if you know what year or what location a production took place.
Okay.
Okay. So we're going to switch things up here.
All right.
A variety. All right. What year was 12 Years a Slave filmed? Or what year was it released, in fact?
Mm-hmm.
Was it A, 2010, B, 2000, C, 2013, or D, 1999?
2010?
That's incorrect.
What are the choices again? I should know this one.
Your other options are 2000, 1999, or 2013.
2013.
Correct. Ding, ding, ding.
Ding, ding.
Okay. As an escaped slave, this woman led slaves from the South to freedom. Oh, this was an easy one.
Harriet. Yeah.
Oh, you don't even
no. Harriet, yeah.
Yeah, because Harriet Tubman, Maya Angelou.
No.
She wasn't an escaped slave.
No, we go. That ain't her. That's not her.
We doing it. We're out in the game, man. But anyway. Okay, that is correct. Harriet Tubman. All right. When was slavery abolished in the USA? So, of course, this is some historical context here, which, of course, you still can see in movies that are present.
Sure.
So, was it A, 1905, B, 1813, C, 1865, or D, 1900?
Okay, so honestly, there isn't a correct answer that's there.
Because it was different.
It was technically
what were the proclamations?
Well, it was 1863 that was signed, but 1865 is when Texas got the text message that we was free.
Well, let's go take you to church real quick. Okay. All right. So we've got some more trivia here as far as it goes with actors and actresses.
Okay.
So what TV host played Celie Johnson in the cultural iconic movie The Color Purple? Whoopi. You don't even know me there. Yeah.
Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh,
the GOAT.
The other choice was Sherry Shepherd.
Not Sherry Shepherd.
And Wendy Williams.
No, ma'am. No.
Yeah, you definitely were showing some great.
Thank you.
That's correct. Okay. What movie is still known to be one of the most historical slavery movies ever watched? Was it A, Roots, B, 12 Years a Slave, C, Django, or D, Amistad?
It's definitely Roots. Alex Haley's Roots. Yeah. That
turned into an entire series.
Yeah, that was an entire series. Yeah.
Kim showing you some great.
Yeah, but I have to admit, I would have known these.
Okay, well, you definitely mastered. You mastered the quiz. So,
but thank you very much.
Today, you did a fantabulous job. So, obviously, your sugar, honey, ice, and your tea when it comes
a little bit, baby.
After them. So, again, I would love for you, even though obviously, we're in pre-production, you're getting ready to do your casting call, Houston and Austin, to look in the camera and tell everybody to be
right here
on the lookout for if they took us
here. So please be on the lookout for if they took us back. We are in Austin having casting auditions. And I also want to say this, we are looking for crew that are people of color. And we're having the darndest time doing that. So I bet I'm talking to someone right now. If you are interested and you are available to be in Austin the second week in January, we would love to see you come out.
It's peanut butter jelly time, Holly.
Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly.
What are we calling ourselves?
Baby powder and cayenne pepper.
We stay so fresh and clean and spicy. Okay, what's the piece called? What are we calling the piece?
Effective immediately. Don't call me strong. I'm a strong Black woman, and apparently that means I can do anything. But it occurred to me that I shouldn't have to. See, a woman is fragile, dainty wrists, and a slender hand to grasp. But when you're a strong Black woman, you're the arm that pulls everyone else up. Queen Zora said that the Black woman is the mule of the world. But I'm here for more than dragging everyone else along. I'm here for more than front lines and fire hoses. I'm here for more than doing the most work for the least pay. I'm here for more than raising your children all day so that I can afford to raise mine at night. I'm here for more than stepping up while being careful not to step on your toes. I'm a Black woman, so I can make the whole world stand at attention. I'm a Black woman, so that means that I am bronze skin, I am the full pout, I am the arched back, I am the heart-shaped derriere, I am the flow in Joe's nails, I am the child, please, the yes queen, and the cornrow-turned boxer braids. I am all of the things they are encouraged to become, and all of the things I'm encouraged to hide. I am the stallion, and the bee, and the voice, and the lady at the end of the day. They try to make me hide and tame my crown before they steal it, but I'm still the queen of rock from Nutbush, the queen of soul from Memphis, the queen of the catwalk from London. I am a queen who was crowned with the same tired, backwards, toxic title. You're a strong Black woman. What a strong Black woman, proud, independent, strong Black woman. You can hang that title up like strange fruit. See, I'm not sure if that title is benefiting me or you. I can't tell if when you say that strong Black woman, that I'm allowed to be anything else. What about the part of me that is soft and sensitive and crying and limping backwards on wounded feet with trembling hands in the air? See, if I'm so strong all the time, then you expect me to carry you the world and all of its expectations on my back. Since I'm such a strong Black woman, then what does a man have to bring to the table that I apparently built? I'm so strong that before I make the bacon, I'm expected to slaughter the hog.
Well.
So even though I am a strong Black woman, don't call me that for your convenience. In fact, just call me Black or just call me woman. Because when you call me strong, you let me die in your delivery rooms. And when you call me strong, you leave crying babies at my stoop. When you call me strong, you make me sit and run your company so I don't stand and slam my head against the glass ceiling. When you call me strong, you're just trying to convince me of what Henrietta lacked, or that gynecology wasn't built from us bleeding on our backs. When you call me strong, I don't get protection from stray bullets, from closed fists, from broken systems, from traffickers, from the internet, from appropriators, or from you. When you call me strong, I'm a runaway, never missing, never worth the search. When you call me strong, you ain't complimenting me, you're absolving yourself. When you call me strong, you're saying it's okay to ignore the rest of who I am, and I am so many things. I am greased scalps and hugs that rock back and forth. I am shea butter and powder fresh. I am full bellies and warm foil-covered plates for later. I am finger pops and swaying hips. I am bruised knees and prayer closets. I am the entire front line. I am the first collect call. I am what the world crowns, but then denounces, imitates, and then mocks, celebrates, but more often forgets. I am a Black woman, but I won't let you force me to be strong anymore.